Hello, good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to some foam roller intro and basics. One of the reasons I like using the foam roller both on myself and on my peoples is because it relieves muscle tension and it just makes you feel better. What I will say is since I've started foam rolling regularly, I have had to see my massage therapist less, and your massage therapist, my massage therapist, might just cost a little bit of money. So if you're looking to alleviate pain and get your muscles just a little bit more mobile and just take out some of the knots that you might get from sitting all day, then I highly recommend a foam roller. The one that I have behind me is a knottier one, and you'll start to see these when you look around for them, and the knots make it a little bit more advanced. So and also these are a little bit more expensive because they're a little bit sturdier. They're made of a little bit better material. The foam will definitely kind of sink over time, but it's definitely a little bit more economical, and I also recommend it for beginners to start with the foam as opposed to the harder one, because the harder one just might be too much for you to handle. Always work within your own pain tolerance. If something doesn't feel right, you can always leave it out, but it will be just a little bit uncomfortable. So we're gonna start today actually seated on the roller. We're gonna do hamstrings. Now we can do a little bit of the glutes, but generally you won't get too much. So we can start just warming up the muscles. My hands are behind me. I'm on my fingertips. I'm just not going to bear too much weight down. That will be a little bit more advanced, so they require a little bit more of your chest. But we're going to get pretty much right into the hamstrings. Do a few more from right to left. My tailbone is relaxed. Now I'm going to extend one leg. I'm going to take the other leg on top, right? Now I'm going to have to shift a little more weight back and start to roll back. That's it. And we're going to try to roll that whole muscle. And the hamstring is a long muscle. It's a string. And we're going to go in line with that muscle length. And the other thing I've noticed with my clients is that you won't do it as long without me, so try to stay with me. And if you want to actually alleviate a little more than I'm alleviating on each leg, you're welcome to always pause the video and come back to it and hold it for a few seconds. Now you're trying to find a spot that maybe is a little more tense than the others. For me, that's right here, and I'm just going back and forth on it. Okay, I'm going to have this come up just to get off your hands. You can shake those out for a second. Take a breath in. And we're going to reach back so we can do the other leg. So I'm going to extend my right leg first. I'm going to take the other leg on top. And then I'm going to go back and forth on my right thigh muscle, the back. Now hamstrings, I will say, for me, I don't get as much because it's a little bit soft, so you might not feel that much, especially if you're not tight there. And I'm even going all the way up to the glute and then all the way down to my knee. Now I'm going to find a spot for me on my right that's a little bit more towards the top. So find your spot that's a little bit tight and just go back and forth on it a few times. Okay, so now something that the roller is a little better for, and most of us just tend to have quite a bit more tension, is calves. So we're going to go with the lower part of the legs. I'm just centering a little bit, making sure I stay in the camera range. I'm going to start my left leg again here on the bottom. So you can do this with two legs. In fact, let's start there. This will be just a little bit easier on the calf muscles. I'm going to come a little bit closer. I'm going to lift my chest and just start to lift my body a little bit more. Now, that might start to get too much on your upper body. So take that one left leg underneath. The right leg is going to cross on top. And before I even lift my hips, if I just send the weight of my right leg into my left and I start to roll back and forth on it, I start to feel like, oh yeah. Again, in line with the muscle. If you want to lift, it'll get really challenging. That's going to be a little bit more advanced, so I'm just going to stick to my hips down since it is a beginner workout. and I'm going to stay with one spot. I'm going to try to lift my chest here just so I don't sink into my wrists. Right, I'm sending that right top leg into it just a little bit more. I'm going to go back and forth on that tough spot. And, woo, okay. Other leg, gotta be even. Remember, if one side's tighter and you want to stay on that one side, you can always stop the video rather, and stay on that side. Again, I'm sliding back and forth. If you lift, it'll be a little harder. I'm going to stay on my hips for now. Try to keep your chest lifted so you're not bearing into your shoulders. We want to have good posture even here. And here's the spot on that. Ooh, right up there. I'm going to go and stay on that for just a second. Go back and forth on it. Keep your abs in tight. Draw those shoulders back. 3 more. 2, 1. Okay, so here's where a lot of us really need it. If you're spending time driving, sitting, you know, at a desk, you're probably a little bit tight in your quads. Your quads are very, very often used for daily life activities. So that can be walking, you know, moving around, lifting things. Your quads are really going to come into play if you run, especially bike, anything like that. Most likely you're using your quads. So they tend to be very, very tight. And stretching them alone, you know, I feel it doesn't always really alleviate the tension, or, you know, and it can cause back pain. So really great thing to do is quad. So I'm going to extend my hands. We can take a few cat-cows here. Over the roller, breathing in, breathing out. And then I'm going to come down to my elbows, and I'm going to start to walk my body forward so that my quads, the front of my thighs, are on the roller. And now I'm going to start to kind of army crawl back and forth on the whole muscle. Now I'm trying to keep my belly pulled in and my shoulders away from my ears. So all that good posture stuff. All the way to the top of my hip, all the way to the bottom of my thigh. Now I'm going to cross one leg over the other. I'm starting with my right leg now. My left ankle's crossed over, and I'm just sending more weight into that right leg. Remember, you're in control here, so if you want to send more weight into that right side, it'll be more challenging. Or if you want to, you know, stay even with the left leg down, you can do that as well. Breathing in, keeping my shoulders back. And I'm sending more weight into the side. And now I'm going to find that one spot that's maybe just a little bit, oh, it's down here for me, more tense than the others. I'm going to stay back and forth on it. Abs are in tight. I'm breathing deep in and out through my nose. And release. Ooh, okay, so we're going to shift to the left. I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left. And again, back and forth on that muscle, the whole muscle from the hip. Shifting more weight on if that's appropriate. That feels okay. Remember, always honoring your body, not pushing past it. Remember, the intention here is to feel good, to release tension in the muscles. It shouldn't be causing any pain. Feel free to stop the video if you need to. Now we're going to find that spot. And for me, it's definitely down here again. I'm shifting more weight onto it, going back and forth, breathing deep. And then from here, we're going to shift to IT band. And again, just be gentle here. So the IT band runs from hip to knee. I'm going to cross my top leg kind of over. I'm sitting up a little bit more here. And I'm just trying to get that. It's a group of what's called fascia, connective tissue. You won't be tested on that. I'm just going down and up it. Now this is a big one. A lot of people will really find that this is a tense one. Feel free to come onto the elbows if that's too much on the shoulders. And I didn't use a sticky mat because I didn't want to stick to it too much, but if it's too much on your body to be on the hard floor with your hands, feel free to have some cushioning or a mat. Going up and down from the hip to the knee on the side of my left thigh right now. And I'm going to find that spot and go back and forth on it. All right, and we're going to do this on the other side now. Sorry for the back here. Actually, I can move my body this way so you don't have a back view. Here I am on my other leg. You can mirror me. I'm on my right leg. If you're facing me, it'll be your left. So again, that muscle runs from thigh to hip. And we're going to go back and forth on it. On the elbows or the hands, breathing deep. And I did just stack. It'll give a little more weight. If you stack, you can go here. Be a little easier for the beginners. Two more here, and then we're going to find that spot. And for me, it's about here. I'm actually going to stack a little, shift a little more weight into it. Breathe a little deeper, shoulders away from the ears, belly really tight. And last one. Awesome. So now, helps if I have my microphone on. We're going to do the mid upper back, right? So if you're hunched over, a lot of times people get very knotty back there. The other thing with the roller, it's really going to open up our chest and our shoulders. So that's a big one you'll hear a lot of us Pilates teachers talk about. So I'm going to send my spine, the center of it, onto the roller. And I'm going to take my hands behind the nape of my neck, just so I can support the weight of my head. So right now I'm keeping my hips down. We're going to start with hips down because, as you've probably started to realize, is the more weight you put on the roller, on top of the roller, and the less you have on the floor, the more challenging or more tense or more weight you'll be putting into those tense spots. So I'm showing with my hips down. You start to lift your hips up as you roll back and forth. It'll be a little more intense. You're always welcome to stay down. Going to stay off the neck for today, just the mid upper back. And then here we're going to start to twist our body. Maybe come deeper into one side. Try to keep your hips low. Try not to twist them too much. I'm going to come down a little lower. It's just feeling a little bit weird in my neck at that angle. So always feel free to make the exercise right for you. If something doesn't feel right, you can shift your body just a little bit. And then we're going to come into lat. So I'm going to pretty much stay in this position so I can come onto the side of my torso, which is where your lat muscle is. And these can be really intense. So I'm going to keep these pretty small for today. just as it is a beginner foam roller, and I don't want you guys getting hurt or not realizing how much pressure that might be. And now I'm starting to go a little bit side to side here, a little bit of a twisting motion. My knees are bent. I'm going to kind of stop for a second and then go back and forth again. So you can play with both of those or a combination. Again, I'm keeping this pretty small. It is pretty intense for me. Then I'm going to come back to my mid-upper back. I'm just going to do a few more here, breathing in, keeping my hips low, and then breathing out. Now, just make sure I'm in the camera view. I'm going to do the other side. So I'm going to start to shift over a little. And then I'm going to extend that bottom leg and really come onto that lat. I'm keeping this pretty small today. A lot of my weight's on the floor. My hands are behind the head. For support, if it feels better, you can go back here, a little more advanced. I think a lot of people, that'll be a little too necky today. So go ahead and just go back and forth, roll onto the side. And then start to twist into those muscles. And then maybe going back and forth and combining them. Well, all right. How do you feel? We're going to take a deep breath in here. Reach those arms up. Drop those shoulders down. And you should feel amazing now. You can get up, stand up, maybe bring it around a little bit, shake it on out. Thanks so much for joining me. Honored to have you. And I'm going to go right into another video that's a little bit more Pilates oriented as opposed to just foam rolling on the foam roller. So I will see you in a few minutes.